Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's see who is in here. All right, G from the land, that crazy beach Aries, Claudette, Byron is here, Miss Sheila, Tupac Shakur. Okay, 504 Nola, Edward is here. All right, shout out to all of my loyal worlds and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators putting in work. I see you, Malik. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Okay, before we get started, let's have a word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so with that all been said, don't forget to purchase 12 Tribes oil for your hair at Etsy.com. You can also find it, just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get into it. All right, TC Dan says, just FYI, Pope Francis passed away at 88. Yes, Pope Francis is dead, okay? Let's talk about it. Like some, everyone, please like and share. Thank you, TC Dan. And also thank you for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. So I found out Pope Francis died about 5:30 this morning when I was at the gym. I saw it come across the television. So dead at the age of 88, right after Easter, okay? Isn't that ironic? Following health crisis and month-long hospitalization, Pope Francis, born Jorge Mario Bergoglio, assumed the papacy in 2013 following the resignation of Pope Benedict Arnold. Okay, Pope Benedict, what number was he? I want to say 14. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, Pope Francis, the head of the Catholic Church and leader of the approximately 1.3 billion Catholics, known as much for his humility in the role as for the ways that he could push against Vatican teaching and tradition, has died. He was 88 years old. All right, Francis had battled a number of health issues over the years and died early on Monday, April the 21st, just 1 month after he was discharged from the hospital where he was treated for double pneumonia following a 38-day stay. The Vatican announced his death in a statement saying Pope Francis died on Easter Monday, April the 21st of 2025, at the age of 88 at his residence in the Vatican's Casa Santa Marta. Now, his death came a day after a meeting with Vice President J.D. Vance and delivering his yearly address for Easter. In a statement released by the Vatican, Cardinal Kevin Farrell said, "Dearest brothers and sisters, with deep sorrow, I must announce the death of our Holy Father, Francis. At 7:35 a.m. this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and his church. He taught us to live the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage, and universal love, especially in favor of the poorest and most marginalized most marginalized." Now, that's what Farrell said in his statement. He went on to say, "With immense gratitude for his example as a true disciple of the Lord Jesus, we commend the soul of Pope Francis to the infinite, merciful love of the one and true God." On February the 14th, the Vatican confirmed that the pontiff had been hospitalized at the Agostino Gemelli Polyclinic Hospital in Rome. Initially treated for bronchitis, Francis developed double pneumonia and his condition worsened over the next 2 weeks, although there were several days where the Vatican reported slight improvements. Now, an audio recording of the Pope thanking people for their prayers was released on March the 6th. Although the Vatican did not offer many details, they said it was recorded from the hospital. He said, "I thank you with all my heart for the prayers that you offer for my health from St. Peter's Square. I accompany you from here," he said in a message recorded in Spanish, okay, which is his native language. "May God bless you and may the Virgin protect you. Thank you." Now, although still hospitalized at the time, Thursday, March 13th, marked a major milestone for Francis. It was the 12th anniversary of his papacy. To celebrate that afternoon, there was a cake with candles brought to his room. Okay, and they said Francis had part of one of his lungs removed when he was younger. Okay, and he sought treatment for bronchitis a number of times throughout his life. So, the interesting thing is when people tend to have, this is just what I noticed, when people tend to have problems with their lungs early on in life, later on in life, sometimes those problems come back. Okay, sometimes those problems come back. And I don't know, but I want to look into that because I find it very interesting because my friend that I told you all has lupus. By the way, thank you for those of you who donated to her GoFundMe. I appreciate you, and she does too. But she had pneumonia in her right lung when she was like 6 months old. And then now she has a problem with her lungs due to the lupus. So I find that very interesting. I was already thinking about a correlation when I found that out about her, but now to find out that he had bronchitis when he was younger, and then ended up having serious issues with his lungs. Okay, so with that all been said, rest in peace to Pope Francis. May he rest in paradise. Condolences to his family, friends, and loved ones, all those at the Vatican and those who loved him. Above all, that drama said the Pope is dead. Yes, he's been sick for quite a while, beloved. Okay, he's been sick for quite some time. TC Dan said Pope Francis was definitely not one to be flashy. He didn't even live the same way other popes did. He lived a modest life and advocated the peace for the poor. All right. Some of you all should do the same. All right, nefariousness. Some of y'all are quite frankly nefarious as far as I'm concerned. Now let's get into this. Speaking of nefarious, you can't say the word nefarious without thinking of Diddy. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, honey, because Diddy said the reason he was so upset, the reason he was trying to get his trial postponed is because of astrology. Okay. Now, an inside sources said that Diddy was very upset about his trial being denied, or him being denied the ability to have his trial delayed. Now, I thought Diddy was so concerned about all this paperwork and everything being found and all of this and trying to find out about the witnesses and whatnot. But, according to reports, Diddy tried to do it because he was basing it off of the astrological chart. Okay, so let's talk about it. Sean Diddy Combs tried to reschedule his trial due to astrology, honey. Now, my friend was like, I didn't even know Diddy was into astrology. Well, I knew that he was, because most people who dabble in the things that it's been alleged that Diddy dabbles into, okay, and I'm talking about the lesser key of Solomon, things like that, okay, the Haitian tattoo that's on its back and all of that, yeah, they usually pay very close attention to astrology. And in fact, an expert astrologer, okay, some time ago gave a reading on Diddy and also talked about the link between Diddy, Jay-Z, and Beyonce through astrology. We're going to get into that. And also saw that Diddy has the seal of Satan, honey. I find it all nefarious. But anyway, let's talk about it. Sean Diddy Combs is facing serious federal charges, but it's not just legal deadlines that are on his mind. The 54-year-old music mogul recently attempted to postpone his upcoming trial, not for procedural reasons, but because he believes the stars are misaligned. Okay, it's not in the stars for Diddy, and he knows it. Yeah, Diddy, you're going down, son. Okay, it's nothing you can do. This is God's fine design. Okay, you cannot try to skirt your way out of this. Now, on Friday, April 18th, Combs appeared in Manhattan Federal Court where his legal team requested a 2-month delay in the proceedings. Officially, they claimed the need for more time to review newly presented evidence from the prosecution. But behind the scenes, sources say there was a more cosmic concern, Diddy's belief in astrology. Now, according to insiders, Combs feared the current celestial conditions, mind you, including Mercury's retrograde and recent eclipses, signaled a dangerous time to stand trial. Let me tell y'all something. Diddy knows what he's talking about. Okay, Diddy knows what he's talking about. I want you all to pay attention, because here's the thing. For those of you that follow, Tupac said Urzuli Dancer fed her so much blood. Exactly. Okay, and Urzuli Frida, okay, as well. Now, with that all been said, for those of you who follow my spiritual channel, you know that I've told you a myriad of times about Mercury retrograde. We talk about the astrological and numerological things very often. But one of the things that I told you is that when Mercury is in retrograde, there are very often things that will happen, that are how can I explain it? Basically, for example, you may have problems with electronic devices, your phone, your computer, your car, okay? It's not a good idea to get dental work and things done, or any type of surgery if you can avoid it during Mercury's retrograde. Because of the energy in the universe, or in the atmosphere, things sometimes go haywire. They don't work in your best interest, and Diddy knows that. So Diddy does not want to go to trial while Mercury's in retrograde and while the stars are misaligned as far as he's concerned, according to insiders. Now, I didn't hear Diddy say this. This is just what's being reported. Okay? This is just what's being reported, so please pay attention. Now, it goes on to say that he thinks the energy right now just isn't in his favor. He really believes in energy shifts and astrological timing. Now, I do too. Okay, so despite the unusual reasoning, U.S. District Judge Arun Subramaniam denied the request, stating that there was no clear reason why the defense couldn't be ready in time. The trial may remain scheduled to begin on May the 5th of 2025, with jury selection in Manhattan. Now, Combs has been held in federal custody at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center since his arrest last September. The charges against him are grave: trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, facilitating prostitution. The case stems from a months-long federal investigation into alleged freak-off parties where illegal sexual activities reportedly took place. The scandal first erupted when his former partner, Cassie Ventura, filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of a myriad of things we already know. So, Diddy, looks like you're going down, honey. I'm sorry to tell you that the facts are what they are. Okay, he tried to get it postponed, but alas, the judge denied it. Okay. So anyway, with that all been said, now the feds have some more information on Diddy. Now, they're saying that Diddy has before we get into that, let's talk about this, what this expert astrologer said about Diddy. Hold on. It's all nefarious. Talking about Diddy got the seal of Satan, honey. I absolutely cannot. What do y'all have to say about any of this? Do y'all believe in this stuff? I know the ones on the spiritual channel believe in astrology, honey, because we always know what's written in the stars. Please pay attention. Hold on. Let me pull this up for you all so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Diddy is always into something. Okay? Now, I just want y'all to see this seal because, like I said, according to this expert astrologer, this is in Diddy's astrological chart. And you know what? Y'all should not be surprised because I keep telling y'all Diddy's the devil. Okay? I keep telling y'all he's the devil. And this proves to me that he literally is. Okay, so anyway, with that all been said, let's talk about it. Okay, that's it right there. Seal of Satan. Looks not too different. It doesn't look too different from those seals for those demons, those 72 demons that the insider said that Diddy allegedly was conjuring up with the Lesser Key of Solomon book. Okay, so anyway, now here's what they say. They basically say that astrology connects Diddy, Jay-Z, and Beyonce. Now, the scandal surrounding rapper Diddy, who is accused of numerous crimes, continues unabated. And his friends, the celebrity couple, specifically Beyonce and Jay-Z, are also heavily criticized. Now, there are whole theories that this trio tried to control the entire show business and therefore simply remove those who stood in their way. Now, this sounds true to me because I've told you all about a myriad of people that allegedly Jay-Z and Beyonce and Diddy as well have blackballed. Now, of course, they all deny it. Okay, that's just speculation. Now, astrologer Katerina Solvovia. Now, this lady's from Ukraine. Okay, she exclusively said what these people can actually have in common. She told what these people can have in common and what secrets they may be hiding. Okay, now here's her astrological analysis of Diddy. Okay, Diddy, whose real name is Sean John Combs, is a Scorpio by birth date. And at the time of his birth, the sun was in the royal degree of the 8th zodiac. Now, in Scorpio, this degree develops magical abilities, gives success, stability, and the ability to cope with any difficulties. This is the degree of rebirth, renewal, and regeneration. Okay, it increases ambition and gives power and public recognition. Success will help you to do anything related to mysteries, riddles, and secrets. All right, so, but this is not the most important thing. You see, the astrologer noticed that there is a specific configuration in Diddy's cosmogram. Okay, and that is, in fact, the seal of Satan. Okay, she says this is in Diddy's cosmogram, y'all. What y'all think about this? What do y'all think about that? I find it all very interesting, but let's talk about it. Because here's the thing. First of all, what is his cosmogram? A cosmogram is basically like a two-dimensional geometric figure that represents cosmology or basically gives you a way of understanding the universe. Okay, it's often used as like a visual representation of beliefs about the cosmic universe or the cosmos. Okay, the interconnectedness of things and relationships between the different realms. Okay, stuff that we talk about on the spiritual channel, basically. All right, so with that all being said, she said she sees that in Diddy's cosmogram, the seal of Satan, and saying that this is an aspect of clouded consciousness and temptation. Okay, decreased energy and poor health, selfishness and despair and isolation. Such a person can quickly lose the ability to enjoy life. They're distrustful of others, suffer from chronic suspicion, are quickly disappointed, and see only negative things around them. In addition, they may experience regular crises in their lives once every 7 years or so. This is all according to the astrological expert. Now, They also added that Diddy has a powerful channel of violence and disobedience, which activates reckless courage, impatience in actions, and reckless in actions. Such a person can provoke irritation and belligerence in others. Now, in addition, one can see the aspect of risk, which adds adventurousness, daring, courage, and acts as a powerful source of creative imagination, while at the same time depriving its owner of the gift of foresight and promising the danger of material collapse in conflict with the law. If you think about the rapper's biography, you can understand how these complex configurations work in his life, she says. Now, what Beyonce and Jay-Z have in common with Diddy? Well, she says, considering the astrological compatibility between him and the star couple, the astrologer found that Beyonce and her husband have something in common with Diddy, which is increased conflict. Now, in the rapper's case, it is based on fundamental issues that cannot be resolved. But what's interesting is that for a pop diva, a relationship with a scandalous singer is mutually beneficial. And for her chosen one, it can be both mutually beneficial and vice versa. Both can lose a lot. At the same time, Jay-Z is very far from Diddy on a psychological level. That's because Jay-Z is a whole lot smarter than Diddy, in my opinion, and has nothing to do with him in this context, according to the expert. But Beyonce and Diddy have approximately similar worldviews, life principles, priorities, and goals, and they may have the same taste and ideas about beauty as well. Astrology plays an important role in Beyonce's life. Moreover, the singer even dedicated her song called Signs to the zodiac signs and talked about her love for her Sagittarius husband. So basically saying that Beyonce is heavily into astrology as well as Diddy. Now, besides the star believing in horoscopes for a reason, many years ago, Beyonce accidentally visited an astrologer a few days before her performance. He advised her to cancel the performance because he foresaw danger. However, the singer did not believe him and did not cancel anything. And as a result, during the performance of one of the songs, a part of the scenery fell on the dancers and Beyonce herself. Beyonce miraculously survived and fortunately was not injured. But after that, she always takes an astrologer with her. Now, according to Beyonce, it was the astrologer who helped her in many matters of her career and personal life. Besides, she believes that her long marriage with Jay-Z is explained by her astrological or by their astrological compatibility. Will Queen Bee turn to her experts because of the difficult situation that she's in, or when she's in a difficult situation? Okay, so anyway, with that all been said, all right, so Diddy is definitely into astrology, and him trying to sit up here. What I find is interesting is that, so Diddy sitting up here trying to base his trial strategy on astrology. It's not going to help you, Diddy, beloved. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Now let's talk about these white parties, because again, the stories about his freak-offs have come back into the forefront. And ABC News did a report on it, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go.
The case against Sean Combs might as well just be called the freak-offs. These allegedly illegal freak-offs. It's all about the freak-offs in one way, shape, or form.
Freak-offs.
Freak-offs.
Freak-offs. Freak-offs.
The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
Prosecutors say that these were elaborately produced events, bringing lighting in, cameras, linens.
Prosecutors said he would masturbate during these freak-offs, and women had no choice.
Alleged drug-fueled orgies, prostitution, and a cover-up. Freak-offs, as they're called, at the core of a searing 3-count federal indictment against Sean Diddy Combs.
Sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, interstate transportation for prostitution.
Now a look at the charges that threaten to end his career and his freedom. Inside the fall from grace from the powerful impresario, a reckoning that some say is long overdue.
He says, oh, I'm hip-hop. Yeah, well, you know what? Hip-hop deserves better.
During bi-coastal raids on his homes in LA and Miami, authorities say they seized various freak-off supplies, including drugs and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant.
Federal prosecutors said Sean Combs did not act alone. He had assistants, managers, security staff who would make sure that women and male prostitutes were at these freak-offs, that the hotel rooms where they were staged were stocked with supplies like baby oil and lubricant.
For decades, Diddy reigned as one of the titans of music.
Keep that. Allegedly behaved so abusively, was able to do it so often and for so long.
The culture of silence was colossal. You know, it really protected Sean for a number of years.
These people think that they're so powerful that was never going to catch up with them.
Just this week, a new accuser coming forward, alleging in a civil lawsuit Diddy raped her at his recording studio.
The internal pain after being sexually assaulted has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words.
The latest filed by Talia Graves, who says in her lawsuit that in 2001, she was, quote, bound and restrained while Diddy mercilessly raped her. She alleges he, quote, video recorded the encounter and had shown the video to multiple men.
Flashbacks, nightmares, and intrusive thoughts make me feel like it's a constant struggle.
Attorneys for Diddy did not respond to a request for comment on this case.
In court, as he faced criminal charges, Diddy pleading not guilty and denied bail twice. Prosecutors painting a picture of the 54-year-old mogul who, behind his lavish lifestyle, allegedly hid a dark secret.
According to the indictment, the agents found weapons, including AR-15 style rifles in Diddy's closet. The serial numbers were defaced. They also say they found recordings of freak-offs. And the evidence was then used to blackmail these women if they didn't cooperate more.
Diddy's longtime ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, filing a lawsuit against them last year that changed everything.
He would direct her how to touch the sex worker, how to pour like oil over her body, and he would watch these things happen while he was masturbating.
Cassie Ventura's lawsuit gave the blueprint for the Southern District of New York to investigate Sean Combs, and the lawsuits that followed gave the brick and mortar to build the case against him.
One shocking freak-off the prosecutors allege the Diddy indictment occurring.
Messages from Cassie talking about the bruises, the fat lip that she was left with.
Initially, Diddy denied all wrongdoing, but after the surveillance video surfaced, he spoke out on his social media.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Diddy's defense team giving a preview of their version of what was happening behind the scenes.
The defense has tried to recast, not as evidence of sex trafficking, but as the simple breakdown of a 10-year loving relationship. And the judge interrupted and said, what's love got to do with that, with kicking someone?
Cassie's lawsuit would be just the beginning of Diddy's downfall. It was settled in 24 hours, but at least 11 others have since come forward too with their own civil lawsuits. Diddy denies the allegations in these lawsuits.
You know, one of the best reasons to launch a product using TikTok Shop is because
many are seeing echoes of the groundbreaking federal sex abuse case against R&B singer R. Kelly and Diddy's new indictment.
This very powerful man in the music industry decided to use his power to hurt others. I've spoken to the other girls that are involved in my case, and we all were deeply saddened and triggered.
Lizette Martinez says she had a year-long abusive relationship with R. Kelly.
Let's just say, like, I was violated, and I'll never forget it.
After dozens came forward, Kelly was found guilty of racketeering, sex trafficking, and later child pornography. He's currently serving out a 30-year prison sentence. Lizette gave a victim impact statement at his trial.
The industry is not the same after we spoke out and decided to hold people accountable. Him and Rob are a lot alike in that Robert controlled us. These are predators. They're not dangling a career in front of you. They use the power to get you to where they want you.
For now, Diddy remains in jail as he awaits trial. Decades of silence that accusers say once shielded the kingmaker, broken.
I'm extremely proud of the women and men. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it's, the trial is going to be easy. It's not.
Federal prosecutors say their work is not done.
I can't take anything off the table. Anything is possible. Our investigation is very active and ongoing.
When you hear about so many other people having to participate for this enterprise to exist, the first thing that comes to my mind is who's going to take a plea first? Who's going to start testifying against Sean Combs?
In a statement to Impact, an attorney for Diddy said, "We're disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire and working to uplift the Black community. He is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal," adding he looks forward to clearing his name in court.
He was known to have the Midas touch, and now his touch is anything but golden.
Okay, so that's wishful thinking on the behalf of Mark Agnifilo, because Diddy is absolutely a criminal, okay? Even if he didn't do all the things he's accused of, he's still a criminal. Hasn't he been arrested a myriad of times? Yeah, of course he has, okay? Diddy is violent. He's assaulted people, gone upside people's heads with bottles. Honey, how is Diddy not a criminal, okay? Please make it all make sense if they can. Now, let's talk about it, because Sean Diddy Combs' annual white parties, Demi Moore, Ashton Kutcher, and Kim Kardashian, and more. Now, they're bringing this all back up. I want you all to pay attention, because this came out yesterday. And what have we here? What have we here? Because this is all stuff that's likely going to be used. What did he say? They are nefarious. Of course they are. Says this is all stuff they're going to use against him in trial, I would imagine. Okay. Look at Russell. Now, before Sean Diddy Combs was disgraced amid a series of sexual abuse allegations and criminal charges to boot, the rapper and media mogul drew a who's who of stars to his famous white parties. Now, beginning in 1998, the exclusive gatherings emphasized excess featuring champagne, gourmet food, dancers, and more. Guests were instructed to wear only white at the events, which over the years drew stars from Leonardo DiCaprio to Jennifer Lopez and many more. So let's take a look back at Diddy's white parties over the years, starting with his 4th of July party, July the 2nd of 2000 in East Hampton, New York. Okay, so that's the one they're starting with. Okay, so here are some pictures from it. As you can see, here's another one. That's the infamous one there. Please pay attention. So with that all been said, they talk about all of these parties that Diddy had, and they start off with that one. Now, this party came into question during the accusations by Little Miss Jane Doe, if you remember, because they were saying that Jay-Z wasn't at the party or whatever. He was somewhere else at another party with the Diddy. And then they showed this picture of Jay-Z and Diddy with Diddy wearing white slacks and a red shirt. And I said, that's not from the Grammy after party that happened September the 7th of 2000. That's from Diddy's 4th of July party, okay, from 2000, because I remember the outfit. Now, with that all being said, Sean Diddy Combs' white party, dubbed Puffy's 4th of July party at his house in East Hampton in New York, included celebrities Kimora Lee Simmons, Russell Simmons, Natane Adcock, Matthew Broderick, Brett Ratner, Sarah Jessica Parker, Damon Dash, Aaliyah, Andre Harrell, Jennifer Lopez, Veronica Webb, Richie Akiva, Billy Zane, and many more. On July the 5th of 2003, Diddy had another 4th of July party in East Hampton, New York, where guests included Michelle Rodriguez, Anand John, and Naja. Honey, they got some crazy pictures. Some of them I can't even show. Okay, so anyway, now they go on to say Jonathan Cheban was there as well, whoever that is. I'm not sure who some of these people are. Then on August 31st of 2003, Diddy held an absolute white party at his home in East Hampton, New York, where guests included Russell Simmons, Steve Stout, Jay-Z, Andre Harrell, Demetrius Kamboris, and a bunch of other people. Okay, I'm going to skim past all of this because they're talking about all these parties and who all was there. I guess they're trying to call everybody out, honey. I don't know what the point is, but let's talk about Diddy breaking into this person's house. Because did you all know that somebody has come forward now with an exclusive talking about Diddy broke into a house? Did y'all hear anything about this? Honey, this is all crazy. Okay, so let's talk about it. Exclusive. Feds produce a 911 call claiming Diddy burglarized the victim's Los Angeles home. Now, this was interesting to me because they didn't say Diddy got somebody to do it. They said Diddy did it himself and that the person called 911 and supposedly the feds have the 911 call. Now, I find this all crazy because Diddy, are you that damn desperate that you're climbing through windows, breaking in? Taking it upon yourself? You didn't get your bodyguard or your alleged drug mule, Brendan Paul, or anybody else to do it for you? Okay, so anyway, Chantel says, caught another live. Love your commentary, Queen. I like the fact you use receipts to back up your commentary. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate your kind words and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, listen to this, honey, because Diddy is beyond nefarious. Sean Diddy Combs is facing a new legal trouble as prosecutors aim to use a 911 call and testimony from his former staff to strengthen their case. So since 1998, I'm sorry, that's something else. Hold on, let me skip past that. So since Diddy, Sean Combs, his mounting legal pressure has gotten even worse as federal prosecutors prepare to call his former employees to testify while seeking to introduce a 911 call that they say could severely damage his defense. Ooh, honey, because this is going to prove his propensity towards violence, I would imagine. But, you know, other things should also prove that. Like, for example, if anyone testifies to the fact that they were on that yacht when he allegedly broke Kim Porter's nose and had to fly in someone to fix it, or the time that Kim allegedly fought back and nicked him on the artery on his wrist with a corkscrew, and he had to be or had to have treated for stitches and all of that. I mean, there's a myriad of things they could use to prove that he has a propensity towards violence. But the government alleges that in December of 2011, the hip-hop mogul broke into a Los Angeles residence where a victim had been staying. Now, I want y'all to sit back, take a deep breath, slowly inhale, and then slowly exhale. And picture it. Diddy climbing through somebody's darn window. I wish I would have caught him climbing through mine. Sheila said, now he's a burglar. Sheila said, now Diddy's a burglar. Yes, honey, apparently so. And this was all the way back in 2011, according to this report. Now, goes on to say that he broke into the home in Los Angeles where the victim had been staying. Prosecutors say the victim called 911 shortly after discovering the break-in, and they plan to use that call as evidence at trial. They said because this call was made shortly after discovering the break-in, individuals two's statements are nevertheless admissible because they were made close in time to when he observed the break-in at his home. Okay. This is what acting U.S. Attorney Matthew Podolsky said. Podolsky. Now, mind you, this is a man's home that Diddy broke into. What was Diddy trying to do? Steal some pussy? Diddy, please sit down somewhere, huh? This is all sad. Now, they claim the 911 call reflects the victim's mental state during the incident and offer more proof that Diddy was leading a violent criminal enterprise. The 911 call is just one piece of a broader strategy prosecutors are building as they pursue 3 felony counts against Diddy, including racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking, and transporting individuals across state lines for prostitution. Diddy, you're going down, honey. And then in addition to the call, the government plans to introduce testimony and communications from Diddy's former employees, security guards and assistants, including text messages and recordings, honey. Ooh, honey, it looks like they got the fat and the skinny on him. Now, they recently spoke to one of Diddy's so-called, they interviewed this man, honey. I'm going to show y'all the interview, the former assistant whose name is Philip Pines. Okay. So prosecutors say these statements are directly tied to the employees' roles in serving Diddy and are relevant to the alleged criminal enterprise. Now, this is the guy that talked about the Wild King Nights. Okay, in his experience, they weren't calling them freak offs. They were calling them Wild King Nights. And he was the person that had to set up everything and get all the oil and lube, the Astroglide and all that stuff and everything put together, and then come back and clean up the filth after it was all over with. And remember how he said it was so disgusting? There was bodily fluids and stuff and whatnot all over the hotels in some cases. So anyway, at trial, the government anticipates introducing multiple statements made by the defendant's employees. Now, those statements will be offered as exhibits, including text messages sent by the defendant's employees and recordings of the defendant's employees, as well as through the testimony of witnesses. Now, these statements cover a variety of different topics, but they all center around the employee's core job responsibilities of serving the defendant, according to Podolsky. Now, the government is also asking the court to block Diddy from introducing his own prior statements unless they meet specific legal exceptions. They say they want to prevent the defense from presenting arguments about his character or suggesting the charges are politically motivated or retaliatory. Well, now this is all crazy to me. I don't see how they think they're going to be able to try and tell the defense how to defend the case. That's crazy. And that doesn't even seem fair. Now, I'm not for Diddy, but I'm just saying that sounds crazy to me. How are they going to tell the defense they can't present arguments about his character or suggest the charges are politically motivated or retaliatory? If that's how they feel, then why can't they say that? I have questions. Now, Diddy is accused of participating in a racketeering conspiracy from 2004 to 2024, which allegedly involved kidnapping, arson, and violence. He's also charged with trafficking a victim between 2009 and 2018 and transporting multiple people, including 3 alleged trafficking victims and male workers across state lines for prostitution between 2009 and 2024. His trial is scheduled to begin on May the 5th. The judge has not yet ruled whether the 911 call will be admitted as evidence. Oh, honey, this is all nefarious, but I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this report. Do y'all hear this? Cookie said, Queen Facts, he is going down. I can't wait, honey. I can't either. Okay. Diddy thought he'd gotten away with it all clean. Vince I.M. said he looks like he thinks he's Ike Turner, a burglar and a bussy snatcher too, allegedly. Not a bussy snatcher. Okay. Oh my goodness. Neri said, y'all giving me abdominal workouts in the chat. I know, right? The chat is nefarious, beloved. Please pay attention. Okay. That crazy bitch Eric said, what will it take for Diddy to go down? Joy said, Diddy is definitely cray-cray and has literally gotten away with many crimes, including unaliving people. Honey, you know I believe it. You know I believe it, beloved. Okay. And I think some of those people that he possibly unalived are probably out there buried on that 198 acres of land out there by the southern border that his former head of security, Fahim Muhammad, purchased. Now, that's just my opinion. I can't prove any of it. But anyway, let's go to this report, honey, because this is all nefarious. Okay? Diddy, you won't be getting out of this one, honey. You might think you were. You might have thought you were, but nope, not happening. Okay, here we go.
Sean Diddy Combs speaking out in the new interview with new allegations about wild parties and drug use. Eva Pilgrim is here with the story. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Michael. At this point, we've all probably heard about these infamous parties. Diddy's assistant now giving us details about what he says were called Wild King Nights.
It's official. I survived what I've been through.
This morning, new details allegedly inside Diddy's world before his shocking arrest. The entertainment mogul now behind bars for federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges.
It was a circus. He did whatever he wanted, and we were just at his disposal.
Phil Pines was Diddy's senior executive assistant from 2019.
Hold on, you guys. Let me put an overlay on this because it looks like that's a clip from the documentary. Hold on, beloveds. Okay, here we go.
To 2021. He says his then boss asked him to purchase supplies for parties dubbed Wild King Nights.
We usually had a laundry list of items that included lights, alcohol, marijuana, ketamine, Molly. Those requests started to become more frequent.
Pines claims many of these parties involved younger women.
A lot of times you would have him with a younger female. And there's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent.
The new interview, part of Investigation Discovery's docuseries, The Fall of Diddy.
My job is to shield his private life from the public.
Pines even sharing audio he says is of Diddy telling Pines to bring him various substances during those Wild King nights.
Phil, I need some Cialis. Can you give me 20 Xanax, please? Hey, Phil, I need a plan B.
I remember hearing the words, "Prove your loyalty to me, King." He grabbed me by the shoulders, pushed me to a girl that was on the couch.
The alleged parties similar to the infamous freak-offs detailed in the federal charges against the star, where women were allegedly forced to perform sexual acts with Combs and others, often under the influence of drugs.
In the moment, it just felt like, what? Like, is this fun for him? Is this a test?
Pines bringing a lawsuit to Combs back in December accusing him of sexual battery and harassment. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all charges. His attorneys releasing a statement saying, no matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted or sex trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor.
And Diddy's lawyers also saying they are confident that the judicial process will find the truth and that he will prevail in court. And y'all, this is only the latest in a series of people who were in Diddy's inner circle going public. Robin.
Such a series of people. You're right about that. Eva, thank you.
Okay, so you all heard that. At the end of the day, Diddy is just, at this point, in too deep. Okay, at this point, he's just in too deep. Okay, Diddy, it's not going to come out the way you had hoped. All right, and so now that his stars are not aligned, as he says. I find it all interesting. Okay, so with that all been said, but let's talk about this though, because did you guys know that the same forensic psychologist set to testify at Weinstein's trial is also set to testify at Diddy's trial? Okay. Absolutely. Dawn Hughes. Now, she's an expert witness in she's been used in some of the highest profile sexual misconduct trials over the last several years. Okay. And so she's going to be a key voice in these two blockbuster cases, Weinstein and Diddy's. Okay. So let's talk about it. So in the coming weeks, Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein and hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs will go to trial in separate Manhattan courtrooms. And I want you all to pay attention because you heard it here first. I already told you all that. Trust me when I tell you, it is no coincidence. Okay? It is no coincidence that Diddy is going to trial and Harvey Weinstein is on trial for his retrial. Okay? It's no coincidence. All right? They do this all the time. The last time Harvey went to trial, they went after R. Kelly because they want the black man to dominate the headlines. Okay? They want to deflect from Harvey Weinstein. Please pay attention. All right? They could have scheduled Harvey Weinstein's trial at any given moment, but they did it right before Diddy's trial starts. Yeah, of course. Okay? They absolutely did. Okay, Vince I Am says facts on Box Queen. Okay, you already know. Okay, so anyway, so here's what they're saying. Now, in the coming weeks, Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein and hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs will go to trial in separate Manhattan courtrooms. The two defendants face different charges, different judges, and different potential punishments. But the proceedings will share at least one element in common. Testimony from a clinical and forensic psychologist named Don Hughes. The upcoming court cases will not be the first time Hughes has played a key role in dramatic legal sagas at the nexus of celebrity and power in the post-#MeToo era. In recent years, Hughes has taken the witness stand in other high-profile sexual misconduct trials that drew attention across the nation. Now, when NXIVM, the SEX cult leader Keith Rainier went on trial in 2019, Hughes was on hand to explain to jurors how serial sexual abusers gaslight their victims. Now, 2 years later, Hughes testified at R. Kelly's federal trial, telling jurors that the R&B singer had subjected victims to psychological entrapment, is what she called it. Now, Rainier was found guilty of racketeering, trafficking, and possession of child porn. Okay, R. Kelly was convicted in 2021 on 1 count of racketeering and 8 counts of violating the Mann Act, a law that bars transporting people across state lines for any immoral purpose. Now, Hughes reached a new level of national awareness after testifying at the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation trial. She took the stand in May of 2022 during the second month of the case and rendered her professional judgment in no uncertain terms, saying that Ms. Heard was the victim of intimate partner violence, she said. Okay, jurors inside a wood-paneled courtroom in Fairfax County, Virginia, heard her testimony. She had based that assessment in part on the nearly 30 hours she spent evaluating Heard, who's Johnny Depp's ex-wife. He vehemently denied abusing her. So Heard ultimately lost the defamation case, yet the outcome of the Depp-Heard trial evidently did nothing to diminish Heard's lawyer's esteem for Hughes. In an interview, Elaine Charlson Bredhoft described Hughes as an outstanding expert, probably the best expert I've had in 40 years of practice. She's extremely detailed. She's extremely thorough. When she goes in to talk about any aspect of the case, she's researched it thoroughly and she's reviewed all the evidence. She's able to talk to a jury in layperson's terms, to be able to communicate some of these very difficult areas like domestic violence and rape. Now, Hughes declined an interview request, saying in an email that she does not speak with the press or media regarding any ongoing matters. Okay, so this lady is about her business, honey. She's very professional. I'm interested to see what she's going to have to say about Harvey Weinstein and Diddy. Okay, Hughes' professional specialties include interpersonal violence, traumatic stress, and anxiety disorders, according to her website. She keeps an independent practice in New York City, where she is a clinical assistant professor of psychology at New York Presbyterian Hospital, okay, Will Cornell Medical College. Elizabeth Geddes, a former federal prosecutor who was part of the legal team, has secured a conviction against R. Kelly in Brooklyn in 2021, said that Hughes is skilled at explaining to jurors what many perpetrators of sexual abuse have in common, as well as behaviors commonly exhibited by victims of sexual misconduct. saying prosecutors rely on individuals like Dr. Hughes to help the jurors understand certain behaviors that may not come across at first glance, such as abusers' typical tactics for maintaining control over victims and why some victims do not immediately report assault or harassment to law enforcement officials. This is basically what Dr. Barbara Ziv does also. Now, if you remember, I told you all that Dr. Barbara Ziv was the expert witness, the forensic psychologist who actually testified in Harvey Weinstein's last trial. And one day after leaving court, she was plowed down by a vehicle, ended up in the hospital. Somebody tried to take her out. And I have reason to believe that Harvey Weinstein had everything to do with it. That's just my opinion. Now, Geddes added that Hughes' extensive experience, something Geddes tapped as she sought to put R. Kelly behind bars, gives Hughes a lot of credibility with juries. Now, Combs's lawyers have forcefully resisted prosecutors' plans to call Hughes as an expert witness. They don't want them to use her. Okay, so they filed a 35-page motion earlier this month. Okay, the rapper's team asked a judge to basically block her from taking the stand, arguing in part that her testimony would be advocacy masquerading as expertise. Okay, and must be excluded in its entirety. So they're basically saying she's not an expert. She's not going to be up there giving any expert testimony. She's just going to be an advocate masquerading as an expert witness. That's what they're saying. Okay. So with that all being said, Combs' his team's motion includes the federal prosecutor's expert witness disclosure filing, which says Hughes' testimony is expected to explain how the overarching dynamic of victimization is an abuse of power and control, where the perpetrator engages in self-centered behavior to satisfy his own goals and desires, regardless of the needs, wants, and well-being of the victims. Now, Judge Aaron Subramaniam, who is overseeing the Diddy case, said Friday that he plans to rule on the scope of Hughes' testimony by next week. Okay, so I'll be paying attention to that. Now, in the Weinstein case, Judge Curtis Farber ruled that Hughes can provide testimony about the psychological and traumatic effects of rape and assault. It remains to be seen how Weinstein's and Diddy's lawyers will attempt to puncture Hughes' expert testimony to defend their clients. Weinstein faces 1 count of rape in the 3rd degree and 2 counts of criminal sexual acts in the 1st degree. Combs faces charges of trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy to engage in prostitution. Now, both men have pleaded not guilty and denied all allegations of sexual misconduct, but at least in one respect, Hughes is likely aware that testifying during megawatt trials might come at a cost. When she took the stand amid the Depp Heard case, her WebMD profile was flooded with negative reviews. The social web was dominated by pro-Depp sentiment at the time, and the reviews accused Hughes of being biased against men. Now, I'm gonna tell you something like this. They said she never publicly addressed the digital firestorm. The reviews were taken down after they became the subject of news reports. Let me tell y'all something though. At the end of the day, I think that she was wrong in the Johnny Depp case. That's just my opinion. I think Amber Heard was the one that was abusing Johnny Depp. That's what I think. Okay, I watched that case, and to me, Amber Heard is a nefarious, diabolical bitch. That's what she was to me. I mean, anybody that thinks about taking a dump in somebody's bed, that lady was just gross to me, okay? I'm sorry. I think that she was biased against Johnny Depp, too. That's just my opinion. Okay, so Janine said Diddy couldn't even participate. He's just a watcher. Unbelievable. Was he impotent? No, he's just a freak. Okay, he clearly isn't impotent, honey. Do you hear all these people that have accused him of rape? Okay, all these people accusing him of rape, honey, men and women. He can possibly be impotent. And then didn't you hear they just said the guy that was doing the interview said that Diddy told him, I need a plan B. What do you need a plan B for unless you think you got somebody pregnant? Honey, Diddy might be a whole bunch of things, but impotent is not one, clearly, according to the reports and accusations filed against him. Okay. So, Stacy said, didn't she shite in his bed? Yes. That was one of the allegations, that she squatted in that man's bed and took a dump. Now, you got to be a nasty piece of work to do such a thing, honey. I don't care how mad somebody makes me squatting in somebody's bed and doing that. Honey, this is all crazy. This is all crazy, okay? At the end of the day, Sheila said Amber was nasty. Yeah, she darn sure is. Okay, I don't know how I don't know how Johnny Depp put up with her. So anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Now, y'all see, Diddy's been accused of burglary, assaults, prostitution, all sorts of nefariousness. I mean, I'm really shocked about the burglary accusation, though. The fact that they say Diddy literally broke in himself. I can't wait to hear the 911 call. Okay? I can't wait to hear that 911 call if the judge allows it in as evidence. All right. If the judge allows it in as evidence, I hope somebody that's in the court records it so we can hear it. Thomas, that's a good one. Thomas said Amber Turd rather than Amber Heard. He called her Amber Turd. Y'all are so crazy, honey. So anyway, listen, with that all being said, I'm out of here. But listen, now we're going to be live again, honey, in a minute because y'all, did y'all hear about Pete Hegseth? This fool has leaked another chat. Had all these people in there who wasn't supposed to be in there. We got to talk about it. Trump is doing the absolute most. We got to go in on him. Okay? Y'all know I can't stop dragging Trump. Okay? Vincent M. said, Ike Turner, O.J. Simpson, Winona Ryder, etc. Okay? Sheila said, me too. I want to hear that burglar call. I know, honey. Okay, so anyway, Stacey said Pete needs to be fired. He clearly does at this point. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, listen, I'm going to conclude the broadcast. You all keep your notifications on because we're going to be back live to talk about Trump and all the bull crap he's got going on. Okay, we're also going to be on the spiritual channel. For those of you who follow the spiritual channel, it is 9:48. We're going to be on the spiritual channel at 10:15. Okay, 10:15, we're going to be on the spiritual channel. And then I'm going to be back on this channel probably around 1 o'clock. All right, probably around 1 o'clock so we can talk about the politics and all this stuff that Trump has going on. Trump getting caught in all these lies. How the Democrats are not doing what they should be doing as far as I'm concerned. We're going to get into all of it, okay? So with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Hope to see you all in the next chat. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. Always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Till next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
With that flavor all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood? touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm